All right. Hey, what's going on, enthusiasts? My name is Drew. Welcome back to PC Planet Podcast. With me in the virtual studio tonight is our Lord and Savior, Corey.
Hey guys, Corey Resch here, founder and creator of, well, I guess those are the same thing. Founder and admin of Southern Colorado Computer Enthusiasts. Awesome Facebook group. Check us out. We'll touch more on that later.
Yes, we will. We've got a whole bunch of news to talk about tonight. Holy crap, it's been a crazy week of tech news.
Yes, it has.
We got a whole bunch of AMD stuff. Ryzen 7000 is right on the horizon.
Right.
An AMD official website has now listed at least 4 Ryzen 7000 SKUs. The Ryzen 9 7950X, the Ryzen 9 7900X, followed by the Ryzen 7 7700X, and the Ryzen 5 7600X. There's no sign of Ryzen 7 7800X or even Ryzen 3 at all in the 7000 series, although I imagine Ryzen 3 will probably be released later.
Which I'll be honest, I'm kind of okay with, because the 5800X for the Ryzen 7 was a little confusing.
Yes. That was super confusing.
So it is nice to see some cohesiveness with the naming schemes of these SKUs coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. And
dude, am I reading that right? The 7950X, 16 core, 32 thread with a 170 watt TDP.
Yeah, that's the rumored maximum TDP of the 7950X, which is just absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, that's Threadripper levels right there.
Yeah, it really is. And which is probably kind of a good thing, because as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Threadripper on the desktop is dead.
Yeah, I mean, this is true. That, and, motherboard manufacturers, they try to use the same manufacturing process as much as they can. And having a 2-die CPU on a motherboard, I mean, that requires a completely different manufacturing process for that system.
Yeah, it totally does.
So having a Threadripper style piece, CPU on a single die is definitely going to be beneficial.
Yeah, especially for stuff like content creation.
Mm-hmm.
And streaming, especially, too.
Oh, yeah, with that multi-core performance, because AMD's always led the field in multi-core performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ryzen's multi-core or multi-threading performance is just absolutely off the chain.
Oh, yeah. Anytime somebody says, hey, I want to build a gaming PC, and I'm like, cool, let's go Intel. And they're like, oh, by the way, I want to stream. I'm like, scratch that. Let's go Ryzen.
Yeah, pretty much. And on the same topic of Ryzen 7000 series, looks like on August 5th, AMD is going to be doing a Meet the Expert event, which will be providing a showcase of upcoming AMD X670E motherboards.
Yep.
I have signed up for this event, and hopefully we'll be able to talk more about it next week.
Yeah, and they're hitting all the targets. The Valkyrie from BioStar, X670E, Ace from MSI, the ROG Crosshair Extreme, of course, from Asus, Taichi from ASRock, and the Aorus Extreme from Gigabyte. So they're ticking all the targets.
Yeah, and all these motherboards look absolutely incredible, and all both.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
dude, I'll be honest. Even the ASRock board, which ASRock has been known for being like the budget level, no integrated backplate, kind of, motherboard creator, and even their X670E Taichi board looks absolutely gorgeous.
That Taichi board looks sick.
Oh yeah, like integrated RGB, like it looks really good. I mean, we got even on this budget ASRock board, we have integrated full heatsink VRM cooling. Can't tell if there's an active fan on that. Looks like there might be.
There could be. I'm not totally sure. What's interesting and what's highlighted in the article is the very first sentence of this summary, supporting the recent launch of AMD Ryzen 7000 series processors. That seems to suggest that they could be launching like within the next couple of days.
I'm hoping so. Because that hopefully will drive other prices down. Unfortunately, that will result in retailers like Micro Center to cease offering the 5000 series CPUs. But, I mean, there are plenty of other retailers we can go to.
Yeah, that's true. And there's nothing wrong with the 5000 series CPUs.
Offering full support for DDR5 memory and PCIe 5.0. AM5 platform introduced more performance, power, possibilities than ever. In this webinar, joined experts Mike Yang, Michelle Burkout, I'm not even going to attempt that, or that. A bunch of people.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try because I know I'll butcher their names.
I was like,
but yes,
Sophos Wakinomu, Okinomu.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even attempt.
Whatever.
They're gonna have representatives from ASRock, representatives from SKUs, representatives from BioStar. BioStar is getting on this too. Gigabyte MSI.
Damn. I haven't seen a legit BioStar board since the FX series.
Yeah, no, I had a BioStar board and it was terrible. Mm-hmm. But that X670E Valkyrie looks dope.
I'll be honest, it really does. It has honestly, aesthetics alone, the BioStar's X670E Valkyrie looks a lot like an Aorus board.
Yeah, it really does. And I like how they all have, it appears that they all have the integrated I/O shields, which I really, really like.
Yep, and integrated M.2 heat sinks.
Yep, completely integrated M.2 heat sinks on, looks like all 5 of these boards that have been featured.
Yep, and I love how each one of these boards is like, here's some RGB. Here's some RGB. Here's some RGB. And Asus is over here like, you're going to like our ARGB.
Right. I like the ASRock
BioStar,
RGB.
MSI, ASRock, Gigabyte. They're like, all the other, BioStar, MSI, ASRock, Gigabyte, they're like, here's some RGB. Here's some RGB. Here's some RGB. Asus was like, RGB.
In your face.
In your face.
Yeah. No, I actually really like
We have a straight up ARGB illuminated ROG logo on the IO shield. Like, bro. Full border ARGB. Like, dude, it's funny. That's funny. It's funny to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's AMD Ryzen 7000. We got some news on AMD GPU front. They just dropped new Adrenalin Edition 22.7.1 optional driver for Radeon GPUs. They brought some new features to the table this time. You know, Corey, you use NVIDIA Broadcast for its noise suppression and some other things, but I think the noise suppression is really what sets it apart from, a lot of other companies until now, because AMD,
right now I have a fan on high speed about 2 feet away from me and a AC window unit running on full blast,
and you wouldn't know it.
Yep.
So
and just like you, Drew, you have what going on over there? With
yeah,
AMD?
I've got a really loud ass Oxygen machine because I use Oxygen when I'm not recording podcasts. And I've got a fan running next to me because I'm in the hottest damn room in the house, and you can't hear a thing.
I can't hear anything. All I hear is you. In fact, right now, I actually have a baby that's crying about 10 feet away from me.
Yeah. No, all this noise suppression tech is just awesome. And I love that AMD just came right out with it. It actually got accidentally
that's
leaked the day before they released it.
And that's what's crazy is there was no prep before this. AMD didn't advertise that they were having, this tech come out. They were just like, boom, new driver, enjoy.
Yeah.
We're here for you.
Yeah. And what comes also with this driver, and this is cool. So this actually, it only works on Ryzen 5000 processors or newer, which actually makes sense because it's not running on the GPU. It's all done in software. It's unlike NVIDIA's technology, this is not running on the GPU at all.
Oh, interesting.
It's really interesting that and the cool thing is too, it's baked right into the driver. There's no extra downloads. Nice. There's no extra software. You just go into AMD Adrenalin. You go to settings, audio and video, AMD noise suppression. You enable it. You can enable it on input and output. So you can go watch an episode of Friends without the laugh track, which, as it turns out, makes Friends not very funny.
I mean, as opposed to
watching it normally, which is not very funny to begin with.
I was going to say, let's be honest, as Friends. Didn't you say that driver had some major updates with OpenGL as well?
Yes. 22.7.1 shows basically almost double performance in OpenGL applications. So
nice.
Minecraft, for example. So on my 6900 XT, I was getting like somewhere between 250 to 300 frames per second. On the same map, on the same settings at 1440p, just everything cranked on Minecraft Java edition, by the way, not the Windows 10 or Windows 11 edition that you get from the Microsoft Store, because that uses DirectX. The Java edition runs on OpenGL, and I am now getting just a hair over 500 frames a second.
Now, Drew, what's your monitor's refresh rate?
75 hertz.
enjoy your 500 FPS, good sir.
But here's the thing. Even though, yes, obviously my monitor is not doing, high refresh rate gaming, which is a trade-off that I actually consciously made because my display also does 10-bit color.
There you go. And you also have better response time with the increased refresh rate.
Yeah, much better response time. I can set it to go anywhere between, I think, 1 and 5 millisecond response time.
I wouldn't go over 3 because after that you start getting smearing.
Yeah, exactly. But I can set it to, pretty fast response time. Like I said, it does 10-bit color. So the thing about high refresh rate gaming, even on a low refresh rate display such as mine, is even though you're not going to see each and every frame, you're going to see a more recent frame. So it actually reduces input lag by a lot.
Yep, exactly. This is true.
Which is really important, especially in esports titles like Rocket League or, PUBG, Fortnite, that sort of stuff. Competitive esports titles, you really want to reduce input lag as much as possible.
I actually run a 144 hertz panel, but I got a TN panel. As opposed to like IPS or LED, because TN panels have extremely fast response time.
Yes, they do. Well, we've got some more GPU news. AMD and NVIDIA have filed trademarks in the European Union with the EEC, basically the European version of the United States Trademark Office, with trademarks for AMD Radeon RX 7000 series and RTX 40 series GPUs. The AMD trademark filings include both XT and non-XT variants of the 7900, 7800, 7700, 7600, and 7500 XT and non-XT variants on all of those.
I'll be honest. I feel like this is a giant smack in the face for people who got the 6900 XT, 5 or 6 months ago for $1,300.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then a month ago they see the price on these cards drop to $700, and then not 2 weeks later they're seeing the 7900 XT launch. It's like, bruh.
Yeah, pretty much. And also RTX 40
people are
series.
like, no, that's cool. People are like, no, that's cool. I guess I'll just go fuck myself. That's fine.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's going to be the case with people that just bought NVIDIA 30 series cards too, because we've got NVIDIA RTX 40 series cards seemingly coming out later this year, early next year. Those were also named in the trademark filings. We've got everything. Every card I'm about to mention also has a TI variant. So we've got the 4050, the 4060, the 4070, the 4080, and the 4090. And yes, there will be a 4090 Ti.
Yep. And they were saying that the 4080 was equal to what performance?
Like the 3090, basically. Or the 3090 Ti.
So basically, if you bought a 3090 for like $2,000, $2,500, if you were one of those people, NVIDIA's like,
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
It's both an amazing time to be a PC gamer and a shitty time to be a PC gamer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how it could be both at the same time, but it is.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's like we've got really great graphics cards now for decent prices. Certainly nowhere near where they should be at this time.
Yeah, like I've talked about this before. Let me look up here. GTX 980 Ti launch price.
Yeah, the
980 Ti's launch price was mid-2015 for $650, and now the MSRP is double that.
Yeah,
for the equivalent generation card. I'm like, come on, guys, come on. I know inflation is a thing.
But inflation only counts for so much.
It does. Yeah, it's like, okay, your flagship card in 2015 launched for under $700. Your flagship card. And now your flagship card at the 3090 Ti is $1,500, almost 3 times the amount of the 980 Ti. I don't know. It's like, yeah, prices are getting better, but they're still shit.
Yeah, no, they're still not good. Like I said, yeah, they're nowhere near where they should be, especially this close to the launch of the next generation.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier too. The modern day equivalent of the 980 Ti is the 3090 Ti, and let's be honest, your average gamer is not going after the 3090 Ti.
No, because it's not a gaming card.
Right, it's a workstation card. It's designed for CAD files. It's designed for workstation usage,
which is why they should have named it a Titan.
But they didn't.
We
didn't even get a Titan SKU this generation.
No, and quite frankly, even the 3090 Ti still gets outclassed by the RTX Titan in certain workloads.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Corey, you're an NVIDIA stockholder, right?
I am an NVIDIA stockholder, and I am an NVIDIA slut. What do you want from me?
I want you to not buy any more NVIDIA stock right now because it's a really, really risky investment.
Yeah, I haven't been buying any kind of NVIDIA stock lately.
That's probably a good thing because the GPU race is definitely NVIDIA's to lose. They carry a humongous 80% share of the market, and their stock has been growing in price exponentially. It grew 81% in 2017.
I'm going to be honest.
125% 2021.
I have also invested in AMD.
Smart.
Not as much in NVIDIA, but I invested in both sides. Just like I also have investments with Intel.
Yeah, I think Intel might be a smart investment.
Yeah, you never know what could happen. They've been a risky investment for several years because they keep reusing the same fucking manufacturing process again and again and again. 14,000 Intel CPUs are looking to use the same manufacturing process as 13,000, 12th gen, 11th gen.
Pretty much. But yeah, right now.
And I also found out my baby really likes my palm rest for my keyboard, so she likes to.
If it works, it works.
Rub on it.
But yeah, NVIDIA is a pretty risky bet right now, just because they hold such a huge market share, and if Intel GPUs do anything great, NVIDIA is going to be hurting.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Intel is going to take market share away from AMD. AMD doesn't have enough market share to be taken away by Intel.
Yeah, that and the fact that I totally forgot where I was going with that sentence. So we'll just segue on.
Yeah, that happens. Speaking of Intel,
it does.
We now finally have Intel GPUs in pre-built computers that are available in the United States.
Yeah,
kind of. They're not the good Intel GPUs. They're not even the okay Intel GPUs. They're the bottom of the barrel A380 and A310, which ASUS in their, this article calls this the atrociously named ASUS ROG Strix GT15G15, say that 5 times fast, calls the A380 esports competition capable.
Only capable if you crush the graphics down. This is something that I am passionate about. It has been pissing me off to no end that we have companies like Origin PC and CyberPower dropping GT 1030s, which might render an Excel spreadsheet at 720p in their systems, and they're advertising them as gaming PCs. And now we have 2 companies, Asus and MSI, who should know better, dropping this A310 in their system. The Strix branding should not be placed on anything but a well-developed, well-designed, well-thought-out system, because that is what this Strix label has been about. And here we have GT 1030, 20 FPS, 15 FPS in Cyberpunk systems advertised with a Strix logo with the Intel Arc A310.
Yeah, I don't know what the A380 or the A310 is. I don't know what any of those cards are doing in a ROG Strix system. I think that's stupid, no matter what the actual issue is.
The A310 is rocking 4 gigabytes of GDDR6 and is a sub $100 card.
Yeah.
It's a GT 1030 with an Intel logo. That's what it is. It's a 1030 with an Intel logo.
And a better encoder, probably.
And probably a better encoder.
Yeah. So that leads me to something that I was alluding to earlier when we were discussing this pre-show. Intel GPUs. What's the real problem? Is it hardware or it's software? It's software.
What do you think, Drew?
It's software. So I not only think it's software, I know for a fact it's software. I was watching a podcast by Moore's Law is Dead. He's one of the biggest leakers on the planet. is known for being very, very accurate and making sure that he only says what is actually true. And if something might not be true, he's pretty upfront about that. What I learned is that Intel, in their infinite wisdom, decided to reuse the driver stack from their integrated graphics.
Seriously?
Yes. So they are building on top of the driver stack that they were using for their integrated graphics, which is why these drivers for these ARC GPUs are so bad. They didn't just go out and create a new GPU driver like they should have. They just forked their internal, their onboard graphics stack and just kind of piggybacked off of it. And I think they're going to be forced to kind of reckon with that and maybe actually create some real drivers for this thing. I think the hardware.
AMD went through that, and it was a giant shit show.
AMD, I'm not going to lie, the drivers for the 6000 series, pretty solid.
Now they're solid.
Well, I didn't use the 6000 series when it first came out, so I can't say anything about that.
They were awful. When the 6000 series launched, AMD had shit for drivers.
Okay, so there you go. Shit. The problem was drivers.
Not even good dog shit. Like, it was dog shit that, like, a Mastiff dropped in the front yard. It wasn't even your dog, and it was from a week ago in 90-degree July weather.
That's good.
Like, that's the level of dog shit their drivers were.
But they've gotten so much better, and that's the point that I'm trying to make.
Oh,
I think we need to give Intel some time to improve their drivers. Because I think hardware-wise, the GPUs are fine.
Until we see actual performance metrics, I don't mean user benchmark, because we know how awful that
site
is.
Just needs to die.
Until we see actual video proof of in-game benchmarks, I still have high doubts. I still have very high doubts. Because Intel has tried to branch out into the GPU market before, and they have failed utterly every single time.
Yeah, they have. But yeah, we'll just have to see. I'm cautiously optimistic.
I could agree with that. I could be on board with that. I'm cautiously optimistic.
I don't want them to fail.
No, I don't want them to fail, and I agree with you, because honestly, at this point, AMD and NVIDIA have gotten so big with the GPU market that they need some competition.
Yeah, they need some competition badly.
That's a big part of the reason why the 980 Ti in 2015 launched at sub $700 as their flagship card, and in 2021, the 3090 Ti was their new flagship that launched at over $1,500. They need some competition to bring this shit down.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of competition, there is going to be some new competition in the display market, with ASRock prepping a 34-inch ultra-wide 1440p at 165 hertz AMD FreeSync Premium Gaming Monitor, the wonderfully named PG34WQ15R. And
that's
a mouthful. They also have a 27-inch version. That would be the PG27FF, with PG seemingly standing for their Phantom Gaming product line, similar to ASRock's ROG product line. The PG27
ASRock?
Similar to
I didn't
ASUS's.
I was gonna say I didn't know ASRock had a.
Did I say ASRock? Jeez. Similar to ASUS's ROG and ROG Strix line of products, yes, the ASRock Phantom Gaming, of which my 6900 XT happens to be a part of.
Nice. Nice.
Wow.
Although I will say, reports are suggesting that even though it's ASRock, these monitors will have a price point to match. I know ASRock's been the king of budget, but these monitors will have a price point to match. So brace yourself for that.
Definitely brace yourself for that one. These are not going to be cheap.
And also, I'm going to point out that these aren't even G-Sync panels, which, to be honest, me personally, as somebody who's had an AMD GPU, an NVIDIA GPU, a FreeSync panel, a G-Sync panel, and a nothing panel, I'll be honest, I'm not really seeing a huge difference between any of these. Granted, I'm not an esports gamer. That could be a thing. I'm more, Ark Survival Evolved, Fallout 4, that kind of thing. But I haven't really noticed a huge difference between these different
That's because there isn't a difference.
It
it's just variable refresh rate. That's all it is.
Well, G-Sync, they do have a hardware module that is actually built into their monitors to accomplish these things, but I'll be honest, I haven't really noticed a huge difference over just standard turning on the V-Sync. Hello, that's my hot wife.
Well, that's the thing, though. And I wasn't going to point this out, but you brought up a really interesting point. All of NVIDIA's extra features uses extra hardware. Whereas we've got AMD noise suppression that does not use extra hardware. We've got AMD FreeSync, which does not use extra hardware. We've got, obviously, ray tracing requires extra hardware necessarily. But AMD FSR does not require extra hardware. FSR 3.0 might require AMD hardware, though. But yeah, so I just find it really interesting that all of these crazy features that NVIDIA comes out with, first, all of a sudden some other company, namely AMD, figures out a way to make, just as good of a product work across a whole lot more of a range of hardware.
Kind of. I have seen AMD's RTX performance, and it is lacking compared to NVIDIA. That being said, your demonstration of AMD's noise suppression, variable sound suppression, is absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, especially considering they didn't even announce it. It was just, here you go.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no advertising for this. They were like, here's a new driver. Have fun, guys.
Yeah, and it works.
And again, super.
And it just works. It just works, and it works really well. What does not work, however, is security on McDonald's ordering kiosks. Yeah, we've got a little bit of a retraction we need to make on this. Yeah. Several weeks ago,
turns out it was Photoshop.
We reported on a McDonald's ordering kiosk that had apparently been hacked to run Doom. Unfortunately, that photo was in fact photoshopped. The original was just a ordering kiosk that had blue screened.
With a driver IRQ not or less equal stop code.
Yeah, so that's super fun. However, there is a former McDonald's manager that actually claimed that they did, in fact, run Doom on one of the cash registers.
Yep, back in 2020.
And the reason this comes up, because we got a story on Hackaday about the McDonald's ordering kiosks actually being super vulnerable.
Yeah, I saw that. What do you have on that?
There's not a whole lot, but it's surprising how vulnerable these things are. Let's see here. Why are McDonald's self-service kiosks so hackable? So this guy did a massive write-up. I'll drop a link in the description. I'm not going to read this whole massive thing. But basically, the problem is that the software that runs the ordering kiosks runs as admin.
Yep. And the entire security is based on the physical key lock of the system, which a lot of times the people in the restaurant are so busy that they leave unlocked.
Yep. And yeah, so for you Linux people right there out there, this is literally the equivalent of running your cash register as root.
Yep. Sudo/run register.
But you don't even need sudo because it's just running as root. It's just admin. You don't even need it. You don't even need to escalate yourself some rights. You just have them. You can just do whatever you want. Run Doom. Have fun. Don't get caught. Mm-hmm.
This is right up there with those construction signs, and maybe I might get in trouble for this. I don't know. Hopefully I don't. But those construction signs that you see on the highway that say, like, click it or ticket, or a lot of those. A lot of those construction signs are running off of a desktop client that's sitting in a orange box at the base of the sign. And a lot of times, like a lot of company, corporate PCs, they have the admin login on the side of the, printed on a label on the side of the system.
Yeah, no, it's...
So it's like you could theoretically get those things to say anything you want.
I don't know if I told you about this, but I actually saw one on 420 this year that said Happy 420, and it clearly had been hacked because there's no way Colorado Department of Transportation is going to allow one of those signs to say Happy 420. So I thought that was pretty funny. And so our final story this week is a matter of major security. There's an Android wallpaper app that was found to contain really, really nasty wallet-draining malware. It's an app that's since been removed from the Google Play Store. It signs you up, apparently, for premium services without your knowledge. So that's super fun. But apparently it was a bunch of apps and a bunch of just like photo editors and custom keyboards and wallpaper apps. Ugh.
Kind of like, what is it? It starts with a Z. What is it? Not Zelle. That's a transaction app. Zedge. That's it.
I used to use Zedge. That app was awesome.
Right? That's so much cool shit on there.
That app had some really sweet wallpapers and really sweet ringtones. So yeah, if you go to, as always, we have links in the description. Especially go to the link for the Android malware story, because if you have any of these apps on your phone, delete them.
And a ton of them are photo editors.
A whack ton of them are photo editors. So,
yep. And if you're one of those people that likes to have your own custom photos for when somebody calls you, check out your app. If you're downloading wallpapers, like funny wallpapers, 4K wallpapers, auto changer, new screen, stock wallpapers, check those out too. Make sure you don't have these installed. These could be definitely acting as root access Trojans for malware.
And if you find that you do have them installed, delete them and then immediately check your bank accounts.
Check your bank accounts, check your social media, check your email.
So we've got one final thing we got to talk about tonight. And that's keyboard.
Yes. Show us, Drew.
For those of you who don't know, I checked out this really, really sweet, cheap mechanical keyboard. This thing was $30 on eBay. $30. And it's the best mechanical keyboard I've ever used.
And it's a 60%.
Well, 75%.
With the number pad. 75%.
Yeah,
with the number
so
pad.
That's the crazy thing about this is it does away with kind of the home delete, that thing, the insert those numbers, and it uses shift and one of the numbers on the numpad, the 10 key, and it just moves the 10 key up above the arrow keys, and it's really sweet. It's really compact. It's so much easier to type on. I love this thing. So why do I bring this up now?
How loud?
How loud is it? It's not clicky switches. So the only sound that you hear is the sound of the actual keys on the plastic shell.
Okay.
They're silent switches, basically.
So not one of those annoying, I'm going to go to Starbucks and type up a documentary.
No, it does not sound like a typewriter. But so why
I hate those people.
am I bringing up this keyboard? And the fact that I reviewed this keyboard? Well, as I alluded to in the review, which you should watch if you haven't already. As I alluded to in this review, I actually like this keyboard so much that I decided to buy a second one, and we're going to give it away. Details of the giveaway are going to be posted really, really soon, probably next week, as we kind of figure out how to actually conduct the giveaway. But one...
Because there are some legal
requirements that we have to figure out. However, I will say, one of the requirements to win this thing is you have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel. So right now, move your mouse over to the right, to the subscribe button, and then click the button. It takes like 2 seconds.
Whatever
platform you're on. Move your mouse, move your finger, I'm not going to say that. Move your extremity to the subscribe button and hit the subscribe button, because you'll need to do that anyway in order to win the keyboard, so you might as well do it now because it takes 2 seconds and it doesn't cost you a damn thing. And while you're over in that vicinity, you might as well hit the like button too.
Please do. It helps us out, it helps the algorithm, and it helps us get more viewers, which, again, helps the algorithm.
Yeah, so exactly. And I think that's going to be it for this episode of the PC Planet podcast. As always, links to all of the stories that we talked about tonight will be in the description below, as well as chapter titles and all that fun stuff. Corey, is there anything else you'd like to say about the group?
I just want to say, check us out, Southern Colorado Computer Enthusiasts on Facebook. We're literally all about helping each other. For example, I dropped in the group the other day and in a discussion post, and I said, hey, does anybody have any, cheap DDR4 memory laying around? I got an X570 board here that I got to do some tests with, and I had a guy, Sonny Hightower. He hooked me up with 32 gigs of DDR4 memory. Granted, it was only 2400 megahertz, but still 32 gigs, 4 sticks of Corsair memory. He just gave it to me. Like, that's what we're about. That's literally what we're about. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Discord. Check out our website, hosted by Drew here, my good man. And just hit us up. If you're in the Colorado area, anywhere in the state, Colorado State, hit us up. We're awesome.
Yep. And with that, that's going to wrap things up for tonight. I have been Drew. This has been Corey. So glad you guys could join us. We will see you next week.